around this time, the direction became more towards the gospel music as well, or rock gospel. But there was still all these expectations of you as a blues guitarist. Was it a challenge to let go of those expectations?
Uh, you know what? Yeah, to be honest, I've always been a little bit afraid of, um, I don't know, doing music that people might consider to be too different from what they're expecting, you know. Um, but I think especially with this record, uh, Fight for My Soul, I kind of just stopped caring about it for the first time, and sort of instead of writing songs and then trying to steer them in a direction that was more what people might expect, I just tried to just let them be what they were and tried to just honor the songs themselves, you know.
Was there a reason for this mentality change?
Probably having kids. I mean, I think having kids made me grow up finally, you know what I mean? You know, a little bit anyway. And one of the things that it forced me to do was face a lot of fear in my life. And I guess in the light of having something so important like a child to take care of, when you compare that to being afraid to not do the music that's coming out of you because you're afraid of what other people might think, it's not that important. And I just kind of said to myself, well, I guess I'd rather be happy and do the music that's just coming out of me naturally than try to do something else and have that, because I kind of even look at it like it would be lying almost, like, you know, here's this music, but not quite. I'm gonna,
Right.
I'm gonna go back afterward and try to edit it and make it something that it's not, you know.
So it put everything into perspective, what you needed to do, basically.
I think so. I think so. It helped anyway.
I think I got it very much. But do you know where this fear stemmed from? The fear of not being able to please some people, or was this something you always had as when you started out?
No, it wasn't. I think it's just natural, you know. It's like when a band or an artist comes out with a record, you know, the folks that like their music tend to want to see them make that record over and over again, you know. And, you know, some people don't, but a lot of people do. And that's just kind of what happened, I think. You know, I got introduced to blues music as a young guy, played that in a blues band, and, you know, then, I don't know, 5, 6 years later, I started becoming kind of my own person, both as just a human being and a musician. Started growing and writing my own songs and stuff like that. And the songs that started coming out were not always just like blues rock, you know. They started becoming other different styles of music, and I started getting into other styles of music and loving other artists other than blues artists. And so, and it's still evolving, you know. I just kind of look at music as just one big thing, you know. I don't necessarily look at it like this club or this club or this club, or, you know. So, but some, you know, some folks do, and that's fine, you know. I just, who I am has changed, you know, and I think it's still changing, so.
Okay. Well, I wrote some stuff down from your bio. I'm paraphrasing. You said this is the record where you found your voice. You've discovered who you want to be and how you want to treat others. Yeah, well, where did this realization come from? Or was it the same as what we just discussed, that you came into your own basically as the years went on?
Yeah, I think so. You know, traveling and playing music a lot, one of the, probably the most wonderful thing about that has been discovering that how helpful music can be for people. I mean, I know it has been for me, but I mean, to see people at concerts, you know, coming up to you afterward and saying that, you know, something you played or sang or a song you wrote helped change their life in some way, or help them through a certain time in their life, or and you see how impactful it was for certain people. That's when it really, it just kind of hit me like, this is much more than what than just singing and playing notes, you know. This is it's a responsibility, kind of, and so I guess I just wanted to be more aware of that, and in writing songs, and you know, try to write songs that relate to people, and just kind of go about it in a way that's trying to be proactive in helping people, you know.
Well, it's been 7 years since your previous record. I think the biggest reason was because you wanted to focus on your family. But when did the writing process start for this album? Did you have songs written 7 years ago already, or was it just the last couple of years?
Oh yeah, well, yeah. Some of the songs on the on this last record have been sort of laying around half finished for years, and a few of them were written just before we finished the record. So there were a lot of songs to pick from. Maybe, I mean, probably 50 or so ideas to choose from to like finish writing or put on the record. So, which is a good, it's a good problem to have, but it makes it a little tough to pick which ones, you know, you put on there. So, but like I said, yeah, some of them were just kind of laying around without lyrics, or you know, for maybe 10 years,
Okay.
even. Yeah.
Well, for instance, what's the oldest song that's on there?
Probably there's a song called "All of a Sudden" that I had the sort of melody and the music for. I don't even know how long. Maybe. Yeah, I would say maybe 8-9 years or something like that.
Okay. And does it still evoke the same feelings as it did back then when you play it now, or did it remind you of that period when you started working on it again?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I finished it with Drew Ramsey, who was the guy who, one of the fellows who I made the last studio record with. So it was just shortly after that time, and the song is about meeting my wife when we were young. So, yeah, definitely we started working on it again, and you know, you remember all that stuff.
And then this song made it to the album. What was the selection procedure, to put it bluntly, because you said you had about 50 ideas or something. How come some of them made it on and others didn't?
Well, the process is a little tricky, you know, because I think we're trying to look at it as a whole, the record as a whole piece of music. And so it was more like fitting pieces of a puzzle together, like which song, do the lyrics kind of go with the surrounding material? Does the music flow together, you know? All of these things you take into consideration, and do your best to try to put it together, I guess.
So it wasn't your favorite 11 or 10 songs, or the best songs in your opinion, but the ones that...
Yeah, the best songs for the record.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, I want them to be able to stand alone, too, and be a decent song on their own. But, yeah, it was a little bit more about making an album, one whole piece of music.